Oh, hi. It's J.E. Solo, and I am at the Odyssey Contemporary Art and Performance Simulator in the virtual world of Second Life. And I'm standing outside of the Exhibit B gallery that features a photography exhibit by the Newfoundland and Labrador photographer and artist and musician Marcel Levandier. This exhibit it was a part of the most recent Wrong Biennale, and what follows is an interview with the artist. There are a few audio issues at the top of the interview, but we sorted out pretty quickly. And here we go, an interview with the photographer, artist, and musician, Marcel Levandier. Marcel has done a lot of work with reflection in this show. I mean, there's sort of a straight up documentation and a great use of light, but also this idea of these there's all these reflections of what you're seeing. So here's like an arrow, but it is on a reflective surface, and there's all this other stuff going on. So I love that it recurs throughout the exhibit. And here is a great self portrait of Marcel. I love it. I assume that's you. I'm pretty sure it is. And here we're kind of trying to present the images as a journey in this show. So the sort of beginning. Oh my goodness. See, I didn't even pick that up. But I mean, I've looked at this photo so many times, but I never noticed that there is, in fact, the shadow of the dog there. Beautiful. And a lot of these photos were taken on Marcel's nightly walks through the city, often when he's walking the dog. So, how appropriate is that? Most of these photos were taken with a point and shoot camera, something lightweight, a Ricoh GR3. Um, Very cool. And yeah, sometimes, you get the most amazing shit without needing the heavy duty equipment. Um, I love to how you work with light here, Marcel, and just how you work with the light that's available, and then just how, like this, geez, that's crazy. That's amazing. Marcel is talking about fog, and how light works with fog. And so right here in this particular image, there is a lot of fog going on.
Talking about fog.
Talking about fog and how beautiful it takes light and refracts and reflects light, and I mean, even the images in the windows.
Mm.
And then another thing that's really big in this show is all the solitary figures that are walking around.
Yeah, well, the show is like, I mean, I don't really know what I'm trying to say in the show, but it definitely, I find a lot of my photography leans towards a feeling of isolation.
Yeah, these solitary figures walking on these dark streets. Where are they going?
When you're shooting at night, a lot of times you really got to shoot what's in light, right? So that's the other thing is sometimes that one person in this picture, for instance, that's really what I'm shooting, the picture, right? Even though the whole picture builds a scene, I guess, right? It's more about the light itself, I think.
Yeah, that's interesting. And I'll say, because I take photos as well, and I mean night photos. I don't even have a clue. Like I find that it's very challenging. So this idea of capturing what light that is there is makes sense, but it also creates like these incredible moments in time.
But this is also one of the reasons, one of the things about technology improving that I will say is good when it comes to cameras, is that a lot of the new sensors in digital cameras you can use higher ISOs without getting that real noisy, pixely. With the older technology, a lot like if you went above 3,000, 4,000 ISO, the picture would start to degrade, right? A lot of these newer cameras, the Ricoh being a newer camera, the sensors are just cleaner, so you can crank the ISO up for being outside at night. They're really great, right?
Yeah.
Because you can get. So I don't know I can't remember what the ISO is at this, but it's probably about 6,000, right? Which is a lot, right? And that's how I can get so stuff doesn't look like it's shaking anything.
Um, okay, so now we are moving on over here. Um,
As you can
to
tell, I really like solitary figures off in the distance.
Yes, I think it's powerful. Just these people on their way somewhere. Also, just the composition of this is so strong with all the different like rectangles and shapes and lines. Um, and then this person walking down to George Street. What's super cool here along this wall, we're looking at reflections and windows. And so, I mean, this is like eyes. I don't know what this is. What could this possibly be?
I think that's a double exposure, actually.
Okay, very nice. Yeah, no, it really draws you in, and it looks like there's multiple eyes going on here. Um, and then a lot of reflections of people like working in stores or reflecting off store windows. So it gives all these different layers to what's happening.
That picture there wasn't taken with a point and shoot. That was taken with a bigger.
Nice. Very cool. And then here looks like maybe no, 24 hours. What could that be? I'm looking, of course, because I'm from St. John's, so I'm
I
looking
like
to try
look.
to identify everything.
I love taking pictures through things like glass, or in this case, it's like this is at the end of the summer, probably around September, and it was after the pedestrian mall had closed down, but some people still had their little um, patios open,
Right.
and this plastic they would put down over top of it so that it would, it wouldn't get wet in there and stuff. So that's what I was standing there waiting for someone. I got this little scene there, and I usually get the scene, then I wait for someone to walk through the scene.
Right.
You
Okay.
know, I
Cool.
might have took the same picture, 6 times, right, before I got this guy, which I thought was the most interesting out of what I got.
Yeah, and certainly, yeah, that is a thing. You take quite a few until you get that moment. But of course, I had no idea how you were creating this effect, and it's a layer of plastic.
Yeah, literally just shooting through glass and plastic, and know, if it's
Yeah.
not a reflection, it makes everything look like different. That's all. So
Yeah. So, okay. So maybe a lot of the time I'm thinking I'm looking at reflections, but I'm really looking at how things
like that
look.
there is a double exposure.
Okay. Very cool. It's fun now because as I'm looking at it, I'm seeing more things that I didn't see before, like this figure in the middle. I didn't notice her before.
Like sometimes you take the first picture, right, and the first picture was probably the people in the background, right, the two people that are there.
Yeah.
So then I'll put the camera completely out of focus for the second picture.
Ah, very cool. And then you do this in editing.
No, it does like I have my camera will do it right in the camera.
Okay, I didn't realize you could do that. Is this a film camera?
No,
It's a digital camera.
none of
And you
this is film. This is all digital. Yeah.
and so you just for my curiosity, is it a feature of this particular camera?
Most new cameras have double exposure modes on them.
I will say my camera is a bit old. It's very, very good, but
Yeah.
it's really old. So I don't think it has that. My digital camera. Um, I don't think it has.
I actually the mirrorless cameras especially have it. So yours probably an old DSLR, right? But
Yeah, it is.
everything now is mirrorless. So
Okay.
when you look through the through an electronic viewfinder, um,
Yeah,
you actually see reasonable facsimile of the picture, right?
right,
You don't see the live view like you see live view in your camera. You see what the lens sees,
right,
right? In my camera, I see what the sensor sees,
right.
right? So I actually see the picture. I mean, I had DSLRs too, but this makes it so much easier, right? Because you can judge, a lot by that, right?
Yeah,
With the double exposures, this is also it's kind of cheating, but this is technology, right? So makes it much easier to get your idea across.
it is a very haunting and beautiful show. And, here you're documenting Don Tucker was someone who was a fixture. In fact, it's hard to even think about St. John's without downtown Water Street, without
Wow,
thinking about Don Tucker.
he was there for a long time, long as I can remember, playing his accordion in this very doorway.
Yes. So Don Tucker, for those of you who don't know, was a musician who really was a fixture on the street. He played a lot on Water Street with his accordion and was just there forever and a part of life, like street life, life downtown. And so when he passed away this year, and somebody added this little bit of graffiti down in the doorway where he used to work. And so, this kind of documentation I think is like very important and, poignant. And so, it just creating conversations as well as just being like a cool image.
I have a
Um,
lot of film pictures of Don Tucker I've taken over the years. And I made a few prints. I was going to go wheat paste the prints onto the window around his name.
Now, what's this? This image, I think, because it's like a
It's like
business
a
person in a
sign.
suit.
The sign is what it is, but
Okay, I see.
that's a reflection in the window. I guess I was looking through.
Neat. And then we have, I guess this is like
Part of a poster,
poster.
part of a poster ripped off.
This is neat because it looks like a skeleton. Um,
That's a double exposure. That was I think that the skeleton might have been in a window, like a chiropractor's office or
okay,
something like that. And it was a full skeleton, but I just got the head part and the
very
shoulder.
cool.
And then I just, like I said, it's just the second exposure is just out of focus stuff. Makes it look, weird and stuff. I like stuff like that. I don't know. It's almost like a collage with the camera, or like quick collages of stuff.
Neat.
Double exposures are same with the next picture. I mean, it's
Also a double exposure.
no, no, this isn't. No, this is uh, a lot in drugs, and this is a window overlooking the makeup department. I walked by with my dog, and this person, this is it's an ad for something. I
Neat.
don't know, makeup or something, right? So that's what the woman's face is, and that's like the corner of the ad. So she's in focus, and then the rest of the picture is just out of focus because you, just the aperture had to be so high to get the picture, I guess.
Very cool. I love this one, Dollarama.
It's one of my favorites.
Yeah, mine too. I just, here, there's actually two figures and look, they have their arms around each other, but just this, I do love the shit you've done with parking lots as well.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you can only shoot what's around you, right?
Yeah. But yeah, really love this image. So much going on. The way you're kind of capturing like a scene, but then there's this sort of composition element of the lines and the signs, and even here, even in the capturing the street lights, we've got these these lines. I find it very interesting.
Let's take a think of that one, actually.
And here we have another solitary figure walking down Elizabeth Avenue.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah. And then this fella, and this is one of the rare images, like if you actually look, this guy is looking at you. So that's one of the very rare moments where, because there's almost sometimes, it's
I
not
really
ex
try. I mean, I really try to get them to not look at me, but
exactly, yeah. There's I don't know about voyeur, but there is a kind of like a silent observer
it
kind of
is. It is
thing
kind of
going on. A
weird.
little voyeuristic, but in a good way. But yeah, I like that this person's like, what are you looking at?
I've become a lot more voyeuristic than I used to be. And in some ways, just I don't. There's nothing really left I want to experience. I kind of just want to like live life now and make stuff.
Yeah,
I don't fucking care where I do it, to be honest. Like Newfoundland to me is just as great as anywhere else in the sense that I think the whole world is fucked right now.
I
So
agree.
um, I don't like Newfoundland in February and March when there's 10 feet of snow on the ground, but whatever. uh,
Yeah, I think there's something to be said. I mean, that makes sense, right? Especially as a photographer. I mean, there's just always, no matter where you are, really fucking cool and interesting shit to look at and
there is,
capture.
but you have to look for it, right?
Yeah.
Because people, uh, I'm not into shooting the little fucking colorful houses and all that shit like all the Newfoundland photographers do. I mean, I know that's a big part of Newfoundland life, and that's all great and stuff. I mean, maybe it's because I'm not really a Newfoundlander. I wasn't born in Newfoundland. Maybe it's that's why I don't feel this nostalgia for like fucking Jelly Bean Row and fishing. I mean, I still take pictures of boats and stuff, but I don't like make that the main theme of my photography. You know,
No, and thank the stars for that
never
because
never
yeah,
about that. It's more just about you know whatever, right? Like depending on my mood, I could shoot anything, right?
yeah. But of
Uh,
course, it's all about this is something I've learned about photography from knowing a lot of photographers for one thing, is it is all about the eye of the photographer.
yeah,
That's the thing. That's what you're really capturing. You're not capturing the scene, you're capturing what the photographer sees. And um, so, that's what I find interesting about photography. Anybody else could take this very same picture and it would be something completely different, right? Um,
absolutely.
I also wasn't born in Newfoundland, and I don't relate to this almost saccharine, um, jelly bean row stuff. I, in fact, have a bit of a visceral negative response to stuff that is it's almost like fetishizing, the Newfoundland experience. And I find it to be an inaccurate and misleading representation of what's really going on there. You
Last
know?
summer, there was these French tourists said, "Excuse me, sir, where is Jelly Bean Row to me?" And I said, "Boy, that doesn't exist. I don't know what that is." That's
Yeah,
what
no,
that's
good,
what I told them. I
good
said, "There's a
answer.
couple of colorful houses over there, but it's only been the last couple of years I've ever heard of the word Jelly Bean Row."
Yeah, I'm working on on a new short story called Justin Lives on Jelly Bean Row because right in front of Justin's house, and for those of you who will hear this later on when I edit something together, Justin is a photographer as well who lives on downtown in downtown St. John's. But there's a guy who goes around doing like tours, and they stand right in front of Justin's house. And it just like he's like horrified he's in there. Anyway, it's just like anyway, it's insane. It's insane. Yes, people, if
It's
you're
awful.
hearing there is no such thing as Jelly Bean Row, okay? It's a myth. There is no Jelly Bean Row, okay? It's like there is no such thing as a beer garden, you know, these kinds of
Beer
fucking
curd.
lies. And so here I put these three together just because they are these sort of objects, and there's a
Huh.
sense that they're like abandoned, these
Yeah,
abandoned objects in the night. Um, Again, the super cool composition with all of the lines that are also a part of these images, right, with the different objects. And um, you also do some stuff, we see a little more of it. There's some traveling, but the movement here, there's great movement in this image, which
yeah.
I guess is about exposure.
I'm just a fan of stuff like that, you know.
Yeah, really
Yeah,
love it.
it's yeah, you're panning the person. You pan the person moving. So
Okay,
try to be as reasonably as in focus as possible with them, and then the background moves on, right? So it actually looks like you can see them moving.
neat. Love. I also really love this one. There's so much black in it. And then I guess there's something, a vehicle coming, which really illuminates this one lone person and their
Yeah, and
wild
I tried.
hat.
I think I tried to get the whole person. Like I didn't aim for this picture.
Yeah,
When I got back, I was like, "Wow, that's fucking awesome!" Like you can just see her feet
yeah,
in the bottom of her jacket.
yeah. Super cool. And here there's actually a couple of people. It looks like they're playing instruments, but they're
No,
probably not.
that's actually my wife and my son
Oh,
Jack.
okay. It almost looks
So,
like Jack is
we're
holding a guitar.
we're leaving my sister-in-law's house,
Okay, nice, nice.
and we're going to the car. And I took the quick blur,
Again, the cool movement,
intentional camera movement.
I love. And then an abandoned shoe. I love this. Because there is like this lonely feeling,
Definitely, 100%.
yeah, which is amazing, very evocative. And then I put all these traveling images sort of together of this is exposure, I guess.
Yeah,
Uh,
that's on a tripod, and you gotta wait for you, so um, everything will stay perfectly still in the picture and be perfectly in focus.
Neat.
Because that was the bus going by. So
Okay, because it's so big, right? It
that's,
looks
that moves through the picture, and all you see is the light from it.
amazing. Lots of quite a few shots of the bus, and there is actually a figure here I noticed as
I
well.
have a bit of a bus fetish. I've taken a lot of pictures of it. I think the bus drivers must think I'm like, I know there's some of them go like, oh my god, there's that guy with his camera again, and that's a scary clown.
That's like an amazing shot, how its eyes are lit. I also think it's really neat how you use social media and, the online space to kind of grow and develop your work as well as show it. So,
Yeah, I mean it's really interesting looking at my pictures this way actually. So thank you, Liz.
thank you. Such a pleasure and friggin' great to talk to you.